everyone and welcome back to Car and Bike. I'm Bilal and today I have with me the Volkswagen Virtus, or it is the Virtus, or is it the Virtus? Well, either way, this one, it's the highest selling C segment sedan in India right now. Oh yes, it has been outselling in the last 6 months the Hyundai Verna, its very own sibling the Skoda Slavia, and even the legendary Honda City. So what makes the Virtus click? Well, I've got this one over a couple of weeks and I've driven over 2000 kilometers in it. So in this video, let us take a look at 3 reasons what makes the Volkswagen Virtus the most popular C-segment sedan in India right now, and 3 reasons why you should actually consider alternatives. But before we dive in, you know the drill. It's like, share and subscribe to the Car and Bike YouTube channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon as well so that you can be notified every time we upload an informative video such as this one. And also, do write down in the comment section below what's your opinion on this format of 3 reasons. And if you want to any other car to be featured in this format, do write them down as well and we'll happily oblige. Now we begin these 3 reasons by telling you the first reason why you should buy the Volkswagen Virtus, and that has to be its driving credentials. Now admittedly, I am driving the 1.5 litre TSI petrol engine over here. That's a 4-cylinder unit which is more powerful and bigger. But you'll also get the Virtus in a smaller 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged version. It's a TSI and I'll be talking about that as well. But let me start with the 1.5 engine first. Now talking about the bigger 1.5 litre TSI Evo petrol engine, the turbo petrol engine in fact, it is very smooth and refined owing to its 4-cylinder configuration. But more importantly, it delivers power throughout the rev range, right from the bottom all the way to the top with a good meaty mid-range. Again, it's not very fast, not very 200 or 300 horsepower fast, but it's fast enough to keep the boy racer in all of us jump with joy every time we get behind the wheel. Delivering close to 150 horsepower, this engine, it's a cracker of an engine honestly, and it's paired to what we are driving here, a DSG automatic. Now manuals, they are good enough, but what we have here is a DSG automatic, and admittedly this DSG is not exactly what you find in the more expensive Volkswagen. It is smooth, it is refined, it has good upshifting and downshifting qualities, it's quick as well, but it sometimes gets a bit jerky and it gets a bit disturbed at slow stop and go traffic. Out on the highway, when you let it stretch its legs, it's very smooth and doesn't give you any reason for complaint. But what it does give you a reason to complain is the not so impressive fuel efficiency, because I've driven close to 2000 kilometers this very car in the last couple of weeks, and of those 2000 kilometers, say 60 to 70% was on the highway, and the overall mileage that I received from this engine throughout this journey was around 13 kmpl, and that's not very impressive when you say with this engine it has got engine start stop function, it has got cylinder deactivation. That all boils down to the fuel efficiency that this engine is extracting because of this DSG gearbox. In the manual, it might fare better. And that brings us to the 1 litre 3-cylinder TSI petrol engine. And this one, it doesn't feel as unrefined as an imbalanced 3-cylinder usually feels. Its performance is decent too, and it never leaves you wanting for more when you want it to be grunty at city speeds or responsive at highway speeds. However, the rather sedentary feeling torque converter automatic does not go well with the overall sporty character of the Virtus. Now after the driving dynamics, the second thing the Virtus has got going for itself is obviously the way it looks. It's one of those extraordinarily good looking guys in the class who are genetically blessed and have the girls falling head over heels for them. Yeah, that's how good the Virtus look, be it in the pictures or in the metal. It has a very sober styling which is understated but never underdressed. And when you get the GT trim, The sportier blacked out alloy wheels, red calipers, side skirts, and the diffusers at the back, apart from the lip spoiler and the blacked out roof, it makes your heart racy, right? Now, I remember seeing the Virtus for the first time almost 2.5 years ago. For me, it looked like the Eurospec Jetta, and I was so happy that Volkswagen India was getting the same design here in the Virtus, and I was one happy fanboy. And what do you think? Would this design age gracefully, or do you prefer the design of the Honda City or the flashy Verna? Do let us know your opinion in the comment section below. The handsome exterior aside, getting inside the cabin, the Virtus, it's still very handsome looking. It's more like an art decor, very geometric and very ergonomic as well. And like the exterior, this one, it will also age well. Now, I'm particularly fan of this range-topping GT Sport Plus trim, where you get a GT badging on a steering wheel, and it makes you feel very special. But even if you're not spending a lot to get this range-topping trim and getting one of the most affordable trim, fret not, because the entire cabin layout, it remains the same. The quality of material is good. There are flashy chrome inserts. There are a few places where the material could be improved, but more importantly, there are a few things that needs to be addressed and needs to be improved, and that's one of the negative which we will talk about in few minutes, so stick with me. And the third reason for buying the Virtus is because it is made for India. Now, I'm not talking about the A0iN platform that it is based upon. Sure, it is based upon a very Indianized version of a global platform, but what I'm talking about is that this Virtus is made with Indian conditions in mind. For example, look at this 180 mm of ground clearance. It's almost SUV territory. And over the past week with it, I have driven it up and down the NH66. Now, those who are familiar with it, the construction on this highway is in full swing, and kilometers on kilometers to the end, there's not an inch of a paved road. And over those surfaces, the Virtus, it went on and it soldiers like it is nothing for it. No other Indian sedan has given me that kind of confidence as this one did. And the ride quality, it has a bit of firmness to it, just like a proper European car. Its steering is also well weighted, not light, but very user-friendly. Both of these combined are helpful when you're driving long distances and have some ghat section to encounter on the way as well. Now, that said, older Volkswagen models are very notorious for being high maintenance, and not without reasons. But with this heavily Indianized version, these modern day Volkswagen cars, they are very transparent when it comes to their service cost and even the parts cost. You can actually check out all the details of the Volkswagen models on their official Indian website. Moreover, there are extensive service packages as well that you can opt for that extra peace of mind when owning this India-made Volkswagen models. Now, after taking a look at all the reasons why you should buy the Virtus, let us now head towards the reason why you shouldn't. And we begin with the cabin first, and as I said, this is a very good looking cabin, very art deco, but it also is devoid of feeling. It doesn't have a lot of emotions going on, and there are some elements that are carried over from older Volkswagen models as well. For example, these stalks, this steering mounted stalks, we have seen these in older Volkswagen models, and they need to go, and in this place they need stalks that are fitting of this modern cabin. And next up is that all digital driver's display, and I admit it is all digital, fitting for a modern day car, but it doesn't have that layout which a proper driver's car deserves, like a speedometer and a tachometer together. The interface, it's very boring, and it also has a lot of negative spaces on either side which they could have utilized to give you more information. For example, a second trip meter. Now, after the driver's display, we move on to the steering wheel, and I admit it is a gorgeous looking steering wheel. I love the way it is perforated where you hold the steering. It is meaty, just the right amount, and it has a lot of buttons on it. But look closely and you'll notice that these buttons, they do not have the right button functions on it. For example, I cannot mute the music while driving with one single button. I have to hold the volume button down all the way. There's not one button for me to receive or disconnect the call. And also the paddle shifters, there are paddle shifters, but it's made of plastic. Next up, it's the AC unit. Now this unit, it is seen on the Tiguan as well, and it's not very ergonomic. There are no physical button but digital ones, and while driving it is very distracting because you have to look away from the road because you never know what temperature you would get when you're sliding around it. It just proves that you need proper tactile buttons and knobs and rollers when you need a temperature control. Secondly, this AC performance of the entire car, it's not up to the mark, because when you have the engine start stop function, it automatically cuts off the AC, and that increases the cabin temperature, and it takes a lot of time for the AC to come up to the set temperature, and once it's there, it shuts off the engine again. So it's a vicious cycle. And secondly, it is very noisy. The blower, even the seat ventilation, it is very noisy unnecessarily, which is not worthy of a car at this price point. Next up is a wireless charging, and it is a very weird complaint because over the time that I've spent with the car, the wireless charging, it just gives up on you and suspends the charging for no obvious reasons. It shows up that information on this display, and talking about the display, it is a good touchscreen. It is smooth, intuitive, but I don't like the interface. It's very monochromatic and feels very last generation. New generation cars, they need very interactive and funky infotainment system, which isn't offered here. Also, it doesn't have a 360-degree camera, which should be offered at this price point. The boot space of 520 liters is amazing. It's deep and wide, but there's a weird issue with the tailgate, which if not pushed all the way back, tends to come down on you. And it has injured our camera person on more than one occasion. Sure, it's direct competition. The Verna and the City, they both come with some level of ADAS hardware, which is not offered here, but I'm not complaining on that front. But all the irksome features that I've talked about, they do bring down the overall ownership experience of the Virtus, which might seem not a lot at first, but they are a lot. Now, after the complaints of the first row, now we come to the second row for the second negative, and I know it's not a very bad place to be in, but getting inside, it has a very low seat height, so people with knee problem would find it a bit difficult. Getting inside the seats, they are comfortable, but they could have been more comfortable because the seat backrest angle, it's a bit upright for my liking. The seat contours, they're good, but it's good for people who hit the gym regularly, and if I was a bit taller and a bit fatter, this would have been a very tight space for me, especially for long journeys. The legroom is decent, the headroom not so much. So if you want to be shopper around, this is not the car for you. Go for the Honda City without a second thought, because this car, it's made for those who want to take this seat more often. And thirdly, and more importantly, sadly, the reason to avoid buying the Virtus is because it is a sedan. Yeah, the demand for sedans of late have been on a constant decline. People or the car buyers, they prefer buying an SUV, and not without reason, because SUVs, they give them a very rugged appeal, and they offer a better ride quality when the roads tend to disappear, which they do quite frequently when you're driving, right? But the Virtus, it has an upper edge there. It has a good ground clearance, and if you want a car that gives you a SUV-like feel in a sedan, the Virtus is the best bet right now. Secondly, there's also a very niche problem for sedan owners, and I'm pretty sure many of you will be very relatable to this. But when you're driving a sedan, especially at night, there is a prominent glare from the headlamps of the oncoming traffic, which might not be the case if they too were driving an SUV. And thirdly, this is coming from a very personal experience. Both my mom and dad, they didn't find getting in and out of the Virtus very comfortable, mostly because of their back and knee problems. This is a very big reason for many people to avoid buying a sedan, even if it's a very fantastic and fabulous car like the Virtus. So if you don't have that problem and if you can get a sedan, you should definitely go ahead and get yourself a sedan before they actually stop making it. So all in all, the Volkswagen Virtus is one of those cars which has your heart but has a hard time convincing your mind, because that engine, it's cracker of an engine and it is genuinely entertaining to drive. The gearbox, it is smooth and easy, and even the manuals aren't too bad. So then you come to the SUV-like ground clearance, which will give you confidence when the road starts to disappear. But honestly, I would like to see a lowered and slammed Virtus. It will definitely be drool-worthy, right? And the driving dynamics, it's right up there. And when it comes to looks, it's drop-dead gorgeous, no arguments there. However, the cabin has a lot of irks, which makes it hard for the owner to fall head over heels for it. Even after spending close to 12,000 kilometers in it, it still hasn't pulled my heartstring that much. It's a driver's car, sure, but bartering it as a family car, which it fails to attain fully, makes it fall short on both the front. The fuel economy isn't great, and it's not the car that you would love to be chauffeured around either. So the Volkswagen Virtus, it's a hard case of heart over head. The heart says buy it right now. The head, it begs to differ. But what do you think? Do you like the Volkswagen Virtus and would you buy one? Let us know in the comment section below. And hope you liked this video, and if you did, do hit that like button and share this video with someone who's looking to buy a C-segment sedan and is wondering whether the Virtus is a good fit for them. And if you want to see a 3-reason video for any other car or one of your favorite car, do write them down in the comment section below and we will definitely get that to you as soon as possible. That's all from me in this video. This is Bilal signing off. Until next time.